All right, everybody, welcome to the channel. It's kind of the first kickoff to illconformity, episode 1, season 1. You know, gotta kind of introduce everybody to everything. I just stepped inside here to avoid the wind, so I do some time-lapse stuff just to avoid all the muffling and whatnot. But so what we got here is a bunch of organized chaos, really. Just coming out of winter, so got a little bit of shop space here, which is today's project. But we've got a lifted smart car, which is going to be in the works for the channel. So I've got the rear subframe kind of mocked up and tacked into place. This is not the original engine. This is out of a Toyota Matrix, so it's a 1.8 liter high compression motor pushing about 180 horsepower, which is give or take 110 more than the original. So I've got some clearance and everything made way back here, but again, more content to come. Another project I have on the go, it's a 81 Yamaha Maxim, a Midnight Maxim 650. It's a street bike I'm gonna turn into a cafe racer style. For the motor over here, that's been patiently waiting for its day to come to life again. Can't wait to get this thing ripping. Over here, I've pretty much got the wall of shame for all the parts and everything. I've got all the head gaskets and whatnot, so stay tuned on that one. But today, got a line lock kit, my rear cylinders and drums on my 85 Ranger here, so we'll get into that. Earlier this week, my son and we were out here changing the main front to rear line. This is all the pieces that came out to be, so we bent up and flared all that, taught him how to run some brake lines, just have the rear to finish up there. Fronts are nice. So I do apologize again for any of the potential air you might be hearing. Really crappy day to be doing this, but it beats the rain. Just gonna try and figure out a good spot to mount this. I'm kind of assuming here, because I don't have to drill so many holes, and then we'll just remake some new lines to go fix it all up, and I think we should be golden. Don't mind all this extra wiring. I'm just in the midst of a couple extra little projects on this, so figured I might as well just clean it up and not try and tie anything in and make it all a jumbled mess. Just do it right once. So earlier I mentioned that my son and I were out here, and we ended up finding out that everything needed to be replaced in between here too. I can't get the bleeder screws off without shearing them, so that side's already sheared off. We're gonna replace this guy up from the T there and on the other side, but I'll stop boring you with my voice and all this muffled sound from all the air here. We'll get you set up with the time lapse and start getting to work here. Alright, so we got both sides finally off. That other side was a heck of a lot worse to get off than this side. I have to get the vice grips on it and just give it my all. Gonna get this cylinder swapped out, get the other get the line made up, and then get it all back together, toss this tire back on, and then start on the other side. Alright, so we got the cylinder back in, everything's back put together, you know, hopefully correctly. Got the brake line all bent up, ready to go. Just need to get this size trimmed up to where it needs to be, flared and nutted, and then toss it on there, and then we'll get onto the other side. Got the other side all tucked away here and squared up. Didn't really want to bore you with any of this, but I got the both sides bent up and ready to go, so we'll get those installed. If that's something that doesn't bore you and intrigues you guys, I can continue tedious content like that. The front end we still need to tidy up, so there's some bending and mocking up we'll end up doing. But for now, I'll set you guys down and we'll get these installed and keep on trucking. I definitely know there's a better way to get in there and tighten that one, but I don't mind giving myself a hard time. But other than that, looks pretty good. I don't say so myself. Other than, you know, living in the rust belt and all this dirtiness under here. The rest is gonna come together eventually. Got the line lock located, so we're gonna go ahead and start remaking some of these lines up front. And then we can join these, start purging the oil through and bleeding the brakes, and should be good to go to move on to electrical. Pretty happy with how these lines turned out. Had a little casualty here though, but I don't think you're honestly running brake lines if you don't flare them without tossing a nut on it at least once. Thank God it was just this little itty bitty one I did last hose to, so, or line, but just getting a little ahead of myself, I guess. We'll just chalk it up to that. All that is good and snug, so we should be ready to add some fluids and move on to the electrical. I'm thinking the best place to hook up my new switch panel is probably going to be here with the previous owner has a fuel pump wired in there and everything. So I think I can make a bracket mount, kind of come up here, bend up with this, partially come to about over here. I think that'll be nice and clean. We'll just have something there with some switches tucked away on it. Have a vision, I can hopefully put it down. Got some metal here that I measured 8 inches down. Hopefully that should be enough clearance side to side there where I can throw some mounts in the bottom corner and top corner, because I'll be notching this section out so it'll fit around the little cluster, and then we'll give it a little bend, or maybe 2 bends, so I can get some clearance, and I'll mount my switches nice and quaint and tucked in these, and then I've only got 3 for now, but I'll leave my space for a couple more. We'll see how that goes. Finally got this mocked up, ready to go. So I got my fuel, and then the rest is gonna probably do line lock light up here as well, and then get that set up through here. But for now, I'm just gonna finish off with what I've got here. I'm not too happy with the location of these clusters down here, so that's kind of why I went with that up there. But so far I think that's a good setup. And then, like I said, I've got all the placements for extra switches if I want, and all the fun stuff. But so far so good. So I'll touch base a little bit later and finish up the wiring and continue on with the Ranger. But for now, I think that's gonna wrap it up to a little decent length video, getting some lines run. I got my son out, helped me bleed the brakes and everything, so that's all good to go. I'm confident that that's good, and no leaks, which is ideal. Yeah, other than that, we just got some electrical to go through, get that switch panel finally wired up. I do apologize. Hopefully the content will grow a little bit better as you guys grow. I'll get better with my words and my editing and all this stuff. Just bear with me. Until then, if you guys want, head over to Luby Livin'. He's got some good content on pretty much everything across the map, you know, square bodies to woodworking. So go ahead and check that out.